Minutes now. Never believe someone who tries to convince you that he has found the secret of happiness. He's a liar, he's a charlatan. That does not exist. There is not something like the secret of happiness. There are very much ways to find your own happiness, and everyone has to find his own way. In fact, I don't like smileys. I get sick of smileys. If you travel the world, you always see this kind of smileys that are a symbol of happiness. Well, maybe we should learn not to smile all day long, because we have our pain, we have our sorrow, we have troubles, we have our doubts. So we cannot be smiling every day. It's not possible. There is a place for our pain, for our tears, for our sorrow, for our pessimism. But we can look at reality the way we want to look at reality. So in my small village in Belgium, last year they sent across the street a message that it was 2013. I don't know whether you can read what I see when I come out of the city. I read Eros. So this is a much nicer thing to think about. Then it would become the year of Eros for me. And the other people come from the other side, they just see 2013. This is what happiness is about. You cannot change reality most of the time, but you can change the way you look at reality. In positive psychology, we call this reframing. You can reframe the things, the way you look at things. And this is your choice. So maybe not everything is in our hands. You cannot be happy for 100% all day long. It will be parts of it, maybe 50%. And some parts of our happiness we can change, but not everything of it. I'll ask you a question. Please have a moment in your mind in which you were happy. Just, you have 10 seconds, all of you, to imagine a moment in your life that you felt happy. Must not be a great moment, just a small moment in your life that you said, well, that was a moment I felt happy. Do you all cooperate? Are you there? You all have a moment of happiness in your life? Take a picture of that in your mind. Just take a small picture of a moment of happiness in your life. You all have that one? Now I'm going to give 4 characteristics of your happy moment, and you count how much you recognize in your happy moment, okay? There we go. The first thing is, it has not cost very much money. If that is true, you count 1. Second thing is, it was a kind of surprise. You had not expected this. It's out of routine. The third thing is, you are not alone on your picture. There are other people on your picture, and when you're alone, you think about other people, and that makes you happy. The fourth thing is, you get some kind of appreciation, an applause, a kiss. Someone says that you have been doing something good, some kind of positive feedback. Now please count, how many of these 4 characteristics do you recognize in your happy moment? 1, 2, 3, or 4? You've got it? Put up your hands if you recognize 2 or more of these characteristics in your happy moment. 2 or more. Have a look around. Thank you very much. If I'm traveling the world from Africa to Moscow, from Bangkok to Canada, and I have an audience of 1,000 people, 900 of them will say, these are the elements I recognize in my happy moment. Why do we do always the opposite? If we know that this is what makes us happy, why do we look for thinking that we can buy some new iPad, cross the border to America, buy a new iPad, come back, think we have become happier? Why if surprise is something that makes us happy, why do we always do the same kind of things? If other people are so important, why have we become this individualistic society? And if positive feedback is so important, why are we in fact always criticizing people? It is the positive feedback that makes us happy and that makes us grow. So, in fact, I've told everything what we know about happiness. It's not for sale, It's a kind of wonder in your life. You open your eyes, there are other people involved, and positive feedback is the most important thing that makes people grow. So, traveling the world, I've written a book that's called The World Book of Happiness. And quite a lot of people in the audience have contributed to this. I'm very glad that you're here. José Luis de Vega and other people, Robert Biswas-Diener. I asked 100 professors from 50 different countries to explain in 1,000 words what we know about happiness. Not what we believe, but what we know about happiness. So what we can try to use in our ordinary life. And quite a lot of books. We have spread 50,000 books for free in Belgium on happiness. And worldwide it has been translated in 12 languages now as a message to the world. And yesterday the Spanish version has been published. There are some copies there. We only have a few with us. But El Libro del Mundo de Felicidad is in Spanish since yesterday. So I'm very glad to be here and to talk about what we really find, what knowledge is, what we know about happiness. And the main thing that positive psychology, this is a new book, the main thing that positive psychology is doing research on is not the question. We have been focusing on for 100 years. How can we reduce suffering? But maybe we can ask another question. And the better question for psychology is, how can we improve happiness? This is more interesting. It's not only more fun, but it will broaden our knowledge about happiness. And so we can improve happiness not only for ourselves, but also for other people. Because happiness is always combined with society. You cannot be happy on your own. It's always spreading for other people as well. So I don't like that song, "Don't worry, be happy, don't worry, be happy." I made buttons saying all over, "Do worry, be happy." That means that you can be worrying, and there is something to worry about in your country as well. There is this corruption, and you should take care of that. But there are so many other things that you can focus on that can make it that you are happy as well. So I'll take you to 5 encounters I had the last years with people who have learned me a lesson. I've learned a lesson from them. This is the European president. He's living in Belgium, and he has given the book to all world leaders as a New Year's gift. 200 world leaders, Barack Obama, Vladimir Putin, they have all got the book with a message of him. And the message, I quote 2 lines. "I know that the cynics will immediately dismiss these proposals as naive. We know there is always some cynicism around when you're talking about happiness. There are the cynical people. What does a cynical person say? A cynical person say, look at me, how intelligent I am, that I can kill all passion in 30 seconds, what's burning in your heart. This is the easiest way. The second quote is, positive thinking is not for dreamers. It's not naive. It's not because you have a dream that you are a dreamer. So I was glad to address 1,000 young people together with Kofi Annan. And he taught me another lesson. He said, well, please never give up your dream. Don't only start from your talents and from the things you don't know or you don't have. Start from your dream. And how do you turn dreams into goals? Just by adding a verb to it. Come into action. Who of you dares to ask to himself, what is my dream? Why don't we ask it to children? Why don't we ask it to our colleagues? What is your dream? And what is your dream? Just add a verb to it. Start with it. Put it into action. And it will be, you can realize much more than you would think. So I was very happy to be invited to Bhutan, as well as some other people have been, and we'll meet tomorrow people from Bhutan as well. So Bhutan is not the happiest country in the world, but I thought there was a minister of happiness there. It's not true. There are 10 ministers of happiness, a minister of happiness in education, a minister of happiness in culture, a minister of happiness at work, because the first rule is, why should we do the things if we don't become happy of it? No, this is a good lesson. That means that in education, they don't only measure knowledge, but also values. That means that, for instance, in healthcare, they don't only measure physical health, but also mental health. And mental health will be the thing of the future. So it is about harmony and about balance. And we can learn a lot from that. So happiness can be an export product as well, as Bhutan proves, because 1/3 of the World Nations Report on Happiness of the United Nations is spent on the examples of Bhutan, and they show us that it is not only a case that we focus on the gross national product, but that we can focus on gross national happiness as well. A few weeks ago, I was in Beirut in Lebanon, talking to 300 students in positive psychology at the University of Beirut, in between 2 bomb attacks. There were 2 bomb attacks, and we were talking on happiness. I thought, what can we tell about happiness in this kind of situation? Well, I have never met more hopeful people than in Beirut, because they told me the worst thing that can drive you is fear. Never make fear the thing that drives you, because you know that it will turn out bad. Why don't we live according to the opposite of fear? The opposite of fear is hope. And there is lots of reason to be hopeful in the world. If you watch the news, you get afraid from every minute of what you see. But if you see the great lines in evolution, there's lots of reason of hope. We live longer. There are less kids that are dying. There is less illiteracy. More boys and girls are going to school. There are more free people. Even if you think that the world is at war, that's not true. There are more free people than there have ever been. So there are quite a lot of reasons to be hopeful, but quite a lot of people ask me, are you the happiest person in the world? I'm lucky that I'm not. And some woman was standing up in the room last week, and she said, well, why do I have to be happy? I told her, you don't have to be happy. I cannot oblige you to be happy. But if you decide to be a bit happier, that's important not only for yourself, but also for your kids, your family, your colleagues. It's viral, it's contagious. So, you don't have to be the happiest person in the world. I'm not driving my car full of balloons. I'm not dancing on the table all day long. Why should I? We don't ask that from you. I don't like that song of happy, 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 and dancing on the tables all day long. It's not what life is about. Maybe life is even not about optimism, pessimism, or realism. I really like the word possibilism. I call myself a possibilist. A possibilist always sees there are other possibilities than the economic-dominated one way to go. There's only one way to go. You buy the new iPad, you make this travel, you buy this, you follow the new fashion, and you will become happy. Well, there are always other possibilities. And possibilism is a combination of belief and behavior. You believe that things will turn out well, and you start behaving like that. That is a good way to find your happiness, not only for yourself, but also for the people that surround you. I want to focus now on how can we improve happiness. Are there certain ways to improve our own happiness? Well, we did some research on that, and there's quite a lot of research in the world to find out whether we can improve our happiness. This is the research on positive interventions. Can we change our happiness? Can we add a bit of our happiness? And in fact, to do that, we need reflection and action. There is this kind of gathering we do, and when you read books and when you read studies, this is a beautiful way for reflection. But if you don't turn reflection into action, nothing will happen. You can read books on diets, but if you don't start eating in a different way, you won't lose a kilo. So, reading and studying or coming to a conference will not change your life. Reflection is the first step. Action is the second step. And this is how we can change things by offering people a mirror and a window. The mirror for reflection and a window for action. And this is what a kind of conference like this encourages you to do. And this is what studies in happiness do with you. You don't have to follow these lines. You can follow your own way, based on knowledge, based on science. And the most important thing is to become an active citizen. But we will be talking about that tomorrow in a panel with Robert Biswas-Diener on how you can become an active citizen. Because when you follow most of the publicity all over the world deals with happiness. The best paid psychologists in the world are working for Coca-Cola. And they explain on the internet why they changed their baseline into a new baseline. The baseline, enjoy Coca-Cola, was something of the previous century. It's about sex, drugs, rock and roll, enjoy. You know that you will not become happy of that for a long time. And they found out, they discovered that there are two new things that make us do the things we do. This is not enjoy. The two things they invented or discovered for the new century are hope and happiness. And they made a new slogan saying open happiness. In fact, you open a kind of sugar water, but they make you believe that you open happiness. And you hear the word hope and happiness into it, and that makes you buy the thing. So they know Coca-Cola learns us that where will happiness strike next? They have a truck driving the world, and where will happiness strike next? And when it stops, you just push the button and you get a Coke, and that means that you will become happier. This is of course not true. This is what we're learning our kids, that you just have to push the button and happiness will come. In Singapore, they have this kind of machine. They don't touch each other anymore, but when you hug the machine, you get a free Coke. Well, we are afraid of touching each other, afraid of hugging each other. But Coca-Cola makes us believe that if we hug a refrigerator, that we become happier. Well, this is the world we have created for ourselves and for our kids, and that's a pity. Because we know much more about positive interventions. It's not about buying a new Coke. It's about doing the things and helping people to realize their dreams in quite small positive things. We created, for instance, in Belgium and the Netherlands, a calendar with 365 ideas. Every day, again, you get a small advice, and we gave it for free to all doctors in Belgium. And it is there in their waiting rooms, because the waiting rooms of doctors are creating a virus of negativity. And we try to improve that by giving people every day positive advice. Now, we did a university research this year with more than 2,000 people, and with more than 10,000 people. And each of them got by internet a daily advice to do something. It can be express your gratitude, talk to the neighbors, sing a song, dance, do something positive with your children today, read a book, take 2 minutes of silence, something like that, go and have a walk. And we did that, and we researched there weekly, week after week, what it did with their happiness. And the question was, can we improve happiness? And the answer was, yes. We can improve happiness. By small interventions, we can explain this graph in detail, but the answer is yes, we can improve happiness. By daily interventions, small interventions. And most people had a good feeling. Just by doing something kind every day, something positive, because it made them focus on the positive things instead of the stress of ordinary life. So 40% said my perception of life has changed. I started to reflect on my life. I'm on a happier way now. And you see all these interventions, they grow up even for those who were in the control group, and after 1 month, we gave them the final advice, and even their happiness was improving enormously. So what did we find out? That there is no influence on age, gender, education, family situation, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're man or woman, it doesn't matter. Low results, and we can predict that for perfectionism, it's rather difficult to become happy. To be happy and to become happier. The more perfectionist you are, the more difficult it is to become happy. The more anxious you are, the more avoiding. When you're unsafe attached to family and friends, when you're desperate, or when you're claiming, when you can't live on your own, when you always need someone else's advice. This is the bad thing. Now, when we find it out, when you discover these kind of things, you see that these are all characteristics you can learn. You can teach your children not to be the perfectionist, not to be anxious, not to be avoiding. We can teach that to each other. This is the good news, because high results for happiness are related to open people, exploring people, people who have a good relationship with friends and family, who have meaning in life, and who are able to reflect on their own situation. Did it matter to follow the tips and the advice? Well, no. If you're flexible and you're creative with that, but if you continue doing that, we all want to feel agent of our own life. So people who do this, not because they have to, but because they want to, you see immediately their happiness growing. So that's a nice lesson for all of us. And the good lessons, if all of you try other people to become a bit more happier, please don't oblige people to be more positive or to be more optimistic. They will reject. But the thing is that you can give them a choice. You can give them a choice between 3 opportunities. And people who make an own choice make a better progress in improving their happiness. So take what you need, because people differ. You are different from me and me. We are all different. So we should be very aware of not to improve, not to give the same advice to everybody. People differ, but people can change. And this is the good news, because it works like presents. You pick out something, a good intervention, a good idea, some help, some positive feedback, a kiss, a positive idea. Well, it works, and it's not only about fun. It's about what is the choice you make in your life? What's the direction you're going? For the short term or for the long term? For your own profit or for happiness? And you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You can do something. So I know that most of you are involved in happiness, and that you want to improve your own happiness and the happiness of your children, your colleagues, your friends. I want to give you now some ideas, what we do in Belgium and the Netherlands, and maybe you can pick out something that inspires you what to do, because it's just for you. You can decide, and your creative brain is without limit to find out what we can do. So, for instance, we have organized an embassy of happiness. 30 of my friends, they are psychologists, but also ordinary workers, young people, old people. We come together each month, and we just discuss about what makes us happy. And then we go our own way, and we do that in our own job, what we can change in our own lives. Just brainstorms to help you find the direction we can go. We published a children book based on the 10 pillars of happiness of Richard Leo's Great Dream. It's about giving, it's about relating, about courage. And we encourage people to read books with their children. We spread more than 10,000 of these books in the country to improve relationship with parents and children. We travel the country with a puppet theater in which we focus the stories on how the puppets become happy. And a puppet theater is a great thing to do with kids because it's full of emotion. If you watch kids watching television, they're just sitting there. If you watch kids in a puppet theater, whoa, 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 ah, it's full of emotion. So involving a puppet theater is quite a good thing to talk about happiness. Silence is a very good thing to talk about happiness. I was invited in a talk show in the Netherlands. 2 million people were watching it. And the host of the talk show said, "What can we do?" He was talking, and he said, "What can we do to improve our happiness?" I said, "Keep your mouth shut for 2 minutes." And he did. He did. So we had 2 minutes of complete silence in a talk show on television. And this is 4 seconds. Can you imagine what 2 minutes is on national television? There were people who phoned to the television that they had woke up because there was silence on television. This is the opposite world, of course. You should wake up because there is noise. but we are completely not used anymore to be in silence. Silence is something else than keeping your mouth shut. Silence is high quality of attention. We should learn this. We should learn this, to be in nature, to be together, to feel safe together. If we just keep silent for 4 seconds, it proves that we are safe, that we trust each other. If you are with an enemy and you are 4 seconds in silence, that causes trouble. But in this audience, we can really be silent and feel the good vibes of people. This is an important thing you can use. This is another intervention we do is creating happy spots in the country. We ask people to nominate the spot in the country, in their own village, that makes them happy. And we ask why. And in most of the villages, we get more than 100 tips and advices. This is the place that really makes me happy. And we ask them to become ambassadors of their own place. And so we create a living network of people being proud of some park, some bench, some tree, some building that they really love and that gives them a happy feeling. So you can create that kind of things to make people proud of their own village, the own place where they're living. You can find more on a website that's called happyspots.org. There is an English part as well. It's a pilot. We're starting with it, but you can find some of the ideas on the website there. One of the professors in the World Book of Happiness taught me a good lesson. In fact, he said, you only have to know 3 things about a person to find out whether he is an optimist or a pessimist. You only need 3 things. There are red buttons in society and there are green buttons in society. The red buttons are the pessimists, the green buttons are the optimists. And the red buttons are only talking about themselves, me, the past, and problems. And the green buttons are talking about we, us, the future, and solutions. That's it. You can immediately see someone, whether he's a green button or a red button, he's talking about himself, about the past, and about problems. And the red button that's the red button. And the green button is talking about we, the future, and solutions. And this works really like a virus. We inspire each other with optimism and with pessimism. And what you focus on is what you get. If you focus on the problems, you get the problems. If you focus on the solutions, you get the solutions. So there is in fact no reason not to become an optimist. Optimism has only benefits. Optimists live longer, they're more successful in their studies, in sports, in friendship. There is no reason not to become an optimist. And then we can go for a movement for happiness. In positive citizens, you can encourage people to be a positive citizen. You can go for positive journalism. I have a team of 35 people working with me in Belgium on positive journalism. And it really exists, you know. It's not about the good news show, but human people are more than what we see in the media on conflicts and disaster. You can go for positive parents who have positive children. Children are good imitators. Children are very good imitators. They really imitate everything. Children are good imitators. Show them something great to imitate. They don't listen to your words. They see what you do and they imitate you. That's the basic lesson. So, we can go for positive teachers in positive schools and positive children. Why can the aim of our education shouldn't it be happy children in happy schools, thanks to happy teachers? Nothing wrong with that. Curiosity is a very good instrument to become more happy. Why do we always give the best grades to students who have the best answers? We should give the best grades to students who have the best questions. That's the curious thing. That's the curious kid. That will be the happy one in the end. So you cannot say to someone, be positive, but you can say to someone, be open. And the one thing we have to learn, people, is to connect with each other. People learn more, feel better or healthier when they are in circles, when we connect to people, when we see each other's eyes. We don't learn something in classrooms that are looking like this. It's hard for you to learn something on a conference like this because you only see the backs of people. I see your eyes, but you only see the backs. When you sit in a circle, you see the eyes of people, and that really makes you happy. So we can go for positive managers, positive doctors, and go for a longer life. We all live longer. But if we are not happier, we are punishing each other. Because when we don't live a longer life and a happier life, why should we live longer, in fact? So publicity knows very well. Yesterday, a journalist talked to me. I was in Monterey for some lectures, and a journalist said, well, my editor says that happiness doesn't sell. Conflicts sell. Happiness doesn't sell. I told her, go to your editor and ask, what is the best sold meal in the world? It's Happy Meals. Don't tell me that happiness doesn't sell. Of course happiness sells well. And publicity knows very well. It's always a symbol of the smile that's in the successful brands. Would you buy this if it would look like this? You would not buy it. This is a smile that sells. You would not buy it when it would look like this. This is a smile of the Rolex. It's always 10 past 10 on a Rolex watch. Would you buy it when it was 20 past 7? You would never buy it because this is what sells. Happiness sells. People are interested in becoming more and more happy. You know the slogan of positive psychology is, think positive. Do you know the new slogan of Lipton iced tea? They've stolen it already. Drink positive. How can you drink positive? You can think positive, but they steal it because they know that think positive, hope and happiness are the things that makes us do the things we want to do. But in fact, we forget it in ordinary life. I'm going to finish with a good test we did on the Olympic Games. We found out, we asked people, and we did a research on who is the happiest person on the Olympic Games. Is that the winner of the gold medal, the winner of the silver medal, or the winner of the bronze medal? What do you think? What do you think? Make up your mind. Make up your mind. Don't shout, make up your mind. Have you made up your mind? Who is the happiest person on the Olympic Games? Who thinks the gold medal? Put up your hand. Put up your hand. Only 5? Who thinks the silver medal? Only 3? Who thinks the bronze medal? Most of you? Okay. I'll tell you the truth. The research is rather clear about this. It's rather clear about this. The happiest person on the Olympic Games is the winner of the gold medal. Well, well, well. Of course. When you set yourself goals and step by step you realize your goals and at the end you get the applause of the world, that makes you happy. Of course. The problem is that this happiness will not last very long because there is someone else who will win another medal, and that makes you unhappy. The thing that is proved by this research is that the second happiest on the Olympic Games is not the winner of the silver medal. If happiness would be something objective, the winner of the silver medal should be the second happiest. But that's not true. He is only as happy as the 7th and the 8th. The second happiest person on the Olympic Games is the winner of the bronze medal. Why? The silver medal, as you see it over here, she even doesn't want to show her medal. She's not proud of it. And she can only think of, my God, I should have got this 1 centimeter, this 1 second better. And she compares to the winner. When you compare to the winner, you're always a loser. Because there is always someone who is sexier, richer, faster. You will always find someone like that. Don't compare yourself to someone else. What does the bronze medal winner do? He compares to all the others who will never reach the stage. And he says, watch me. I succeeded in getting on stage. And he doesn't care about the 2 others. Watch me. And he can set goals, but it doesn't decrease his happiness to be the bronze medal winner. So it's a good advice for all of us. There's nothing wrong trying to be the gold medal winner. Set yourself goals, realize them step by step, but never go through life as the silver medal winner, because there's always someone you can do who is doing better. Don't compare to other people. That will make you really unhappy. But jealousy is something else than ambition. You can have ambition because you want to improve yourself, your own possibilities, and this is what really makes us happy. So I've given up some time to have you food and drink. There are some websites if you want to have more, and tomorrow I'm in another discussion. And there is the book, The World Book of Happiness, if you want to know more. Maybe I have to. Do I have 1 minute? Okay, 1 minute. Do you speak English? Do you speak? Wait a moment. Come over here. I'll do it. What's your name? Oscar. Okay. You stand there. You stand there. Just there, like this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You are all change makers in your own job. I'm gonna make him move now. I'll do certain things. Oscar, you are a positive one. You're a critical one. You don't trust me at all. But if you want to move, if you want to come to me, you come, okay? If you don't want to come, you don't come. Is that clear for you? You understand me? Okay. So don't move at all if you don't want to move, huh? Okay? There we go. I'll do certain things with you, okay? First thing. He doubts. This is what we do with workers. We promise them certain things and come. And maybe he'll move, but he doesn't, he doubts. There is a second thing. Wait a moment. If you don't want to move, don't move, huh? Okay? He doesn't move. This is what change makers often do. Even in happiness research, and when you want to change society, make lots of noise and publicity, and he should move, but he does not move. I'll do something else. Okay. I succeeded in moving him. He has moved in my direction. I've pulled him. Watch where he is. He goes back. He goes back to his original place because he doesn't like that. This is what teachers often do. Pulling. Parents do this kind of thing. This is what we are very good in. Pushing people into be more positive, more this, more that. I'll push you, teachers, managers, HRM coaches. We do this kind of thing. But you don't like this. Huh? This is something that you don't like. If you push people, that they don't like it. Maybe we'll do something else. If you find out that maybe we can find a positive psychology, some certain things, whether we can find a new direction, to find a way whether we should do something positive. And if you want to change something, we can change that in walking together and setting. Have you seen what happened? He didn't only move. We made a 360 and we started laughing. I didn't push, I didn't pull, but we did a turn, we moved. And we did 3 things differently. I left the confrontation. Oscar, do you want to come? Just say. I left the confrontation. That means we are standing next to each other. A teacher, a manager, a parent, is standing next to the other one, not opposite to the other one. He doesn't move. He only moves, and then I gave some positive feedback. I gave a tap on the shoulder, and I said, "You're a good guy," but he does not move. He only moves when I give positive feedback and a direction. If I give him some kind of direction, he moves. That's the secret of the Sistine Chapel. God and man don't do this. God and man do this. They give structure and freedom. Not only freedom, but freedom and structure. Not only structure, but also the other thing. So when you want to change people, don't push, don't pull. There are other ways to do it. Giving positive feedback, giving some direction, setting some goals together. Give him an applause. He did a very good thing. Thank you very much. Because the last thing... The last thing, in fact, I want to tell you is the biggest discovery in mankind is, according to me, a telescope. Before we had invented the telescope, we had to watch all the stars together. But now we have the telescope, and we can focus. And a pessimist focuses on all the problems that are there, and paralyzed by fear, he cannot even come into action. But an optimist focuses on all the opportunities, the adventures, and driven by hope, he comes into action. A pessimist focuses on who he is. An optimist focuses on who he might become. I wish you a very good telescope for the rest of your life. Thank you very much.